Morning, everybody. Morning, ladies and gentlemen and children of Central Street in Columbia Court up at Kedron. Great to have the neighbours all get together for this occasion. Thank you for joining us to light up the dawn this Anzac Day. Welcome to Mandy and Keith's driveway. Who am I? I'm Jeff from next door. Why am I speaking? Because I was hoodwinked by Mandy yesterday, although I'm very honoured to be playing my part. You're already doing it, but I would ask that you please adhere to the usual social distancing measures. We may have a couple of policemen amongst us, and I don't want us getting rounded up at the end. It's respectful that we start by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land where we stand today and pay respects to the elders past, present and emerging. We'll commence the service with an address by myself, just to, not to remind us, but just to reflect on actually why we're here this morning. That will be followed by the ode. Then the last post will be delivered by Liam. After which we shall all join in a 1-minute silence. The Reveille will follow, and then we shall end the service with hopefully some hearty singing of the respective national anthems, God Defend New Zealand and Advance Australia Fair. Once the service is concluded, please help yourself to the refreshments that have very kindly been led on by Keith and Mandy and their family. So thanks for that, guys. Okay. So we meet here today not to glorify war or praise victors, but to remember those who have served our country during times of conflict and crisis, and to reflect upon their selfless sacrifice. Today there are hundreds of thousands of Australians gathering on their driveways and in cul-de-sacs, in cities, suburbs and towns across Australia, who come to commemorate one of the most significant events in our national calendar. In recent years, some commentators have expressed amazement at the fact that the observance of Anzac Day continues to draw record crowds. However, those who are surprised by this fact show that they may not fully appreciate the Australian national character and the way in which it comes to affect all who settle in this country, even those who have lived here for just a short while, like many of us here in this cul-de-sac. To all Australians, Anzac Day is a tradition, paid for in blood and celebrated in our freedom. It is a day in which not only do we salute the Anzacs, but in paying tribute to them, we also take the opportunity to invigorate our national spirit and pride. On the 25th of April, 1915, 16,000 New Zealanders and Australians surged ashore at the foot of rugged cliffs on the Dardanelles Peninsula in Turkey to open a campaign intended to give Allied shipping access to the Black Sea, bring help to Russia, and perhaps force Turkey out of the war. It was, historians say, an ill-conceived campaign in pursuit of a vague objective, premised on an underestimation of the military prowess and character of the Turkish soldiers and of the tactical advantage that they held. But the cream of the New Zealand and Australian armies, volunteers all, committed themselves with no hesitation about the nobility of their cause and fought with great courage, skill and audacity. In the 8 months that followed their first landing, some 50,000 Anzacs were committed to the battlefront, alongside substantially more British, French and Indian comrades. When the last of them was withdrawn as winter set in, more than 11,000 New Zealanders and Australians lay dead, and with them many more Allied and Turkish soldiers. While the Anzacs' withdrawal from Gallipoli was brilliantly planned and executed, the campaign cannot be described as anything but a defeat. However, the achievements of the Anzacs can be measured in other than strategy, tactics and battles. Their true achievements were in their courage, determination, mateship and sacrifice. These were achievements that set standards that inspired their countrymen for generations to follow. The legends they established gave fresh voice to new feelings of national pride in both young nations, and the news of their suffering on reaching the homes of anxiously awaiting families brought people together in ways they had not known before. For New Zealanders and Australians, Anzac is our own day. It is a day that we mark the deeds of men and women who had come to see themselves as New Zealanders and Australians, and who were mourned by people who regarded themselves as New Zealanders and Australians. The names on the public memorials existing in virtually all of our towns and cities are important and regular reminders of the losses our nations felt in those darker days. The Anzacs indeed command and deserve the respect and remembrance of present and future generations of all New Zealanders and Australians, regardless of race, colour or creed. On every 25th of April, New Zealanders and Australians at home and abroad have gathered to commemorate not just those Anzacs who died on that day, but all current and former men and women of our Defence Force. We remember on this day those who fell in both world wars, in conflicts in Malaya, Korea, Borneo and Vietnam, and more recently in Iraq and Afghanistan. Duty, patriotism, individual sacrifice, and the affirmation of the New Zealanders and Australian relationship are the enduring legacies of Gallipoli and all subsequent conflicts involving our two nations. The men and women who forged the Anzac spirit made sure that those who led them earned their respect. They all understood the values of independence, freedom and fairness, and above all, possessed a willingness to defend these things if need be, because freedom only survives as long as people are willing to defend it. That is the spirit Anzac has handed down to us. If we lose that Anzac spirit, we lose everything. So here we stand today, along with thousands of others, to honour great men and women and a great tradition. We gather as we shall always gather, not to glorify war, but to remind ourselves that we value who we are and we value the freedoms that we possess, and to acknowledge the courage and sacrifice of those who contributed so much in shaping the identity of this proud nation, and those that continue to serve.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Introductions for both of them. And when I take a big breath, then we all start together.
God defend New Zealand. And advance Australia Fair. That commences the service, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for attending. Please feel free, whilst observing the social distancing measures, help yourself to the refreshments, and you can eat them on your way home. Thank you.